Hi, welcome back to my channel. Thank you for watching and for subscribing. And if you're just visiting, please consider subscribing. So it's finally spring outside, even if around here it doesn't really feel much warmer than that, but at least we know that, the warm weather is just around the corner. And as much as I enjoy heavy heater fragrances that I can wear in the fall and winter, weather-wise, I definitely prefer warm weather. Spring and summer is even better. So I'm very excited that we're headed in the direction of warm weather. And so I've decided to choose some fragrances from my collection that I think will be great to wear in the spring. And because spring around here is very different, early spring is still very cold, very similar to winter, and then late spring is already quite warm, getting close to summer weather. So I've divided my fragrances into two categories. I've chosen 6 fragrances for early spring and 6 fragrances for late spring. So first we're gonna look at fragrances for the early spring, which is the weather that we're having now, which, like I said, is mostly quite similar to winter weather, although there's definitely more sunshine and the air is slightly warmer. So my first fragrance choice is from Malone, and this is Velvet Rose Oud. And this is probably my favorite Rose and Oud combination. It has Rose Oud, obviously. It has praline and cloves. And I think it's the praline that really adds such a nice sweetness, but it's not too heavy and it's not too sweet. The name is perfect. It is definitely a velvety rose with just a touch of oud. For those that are scared for oud, I think don't be scared of this one. The oud is very, very light in here, almost unnoticeable. It is definitely a slightly sweet velvety rose. That's what it feels like. And I think for early spring, this is a great choice. Next one that I have is a fragrance that I have been obsessed just a little bit with lately, and this is 100 Silent Ways from Nishani. This is an example of a stunning combination of vanilla and florals. So there's definitely vanilla in here. There are definitely white florals. There's jasmine, tuberose, perhaps gardenia as well. We also have orris, sandalwood, peach. So orris and sandalwood make it super creamy, and it's just outstanding scent. Like I said, I originally, when I purchased Ani from Nishani and 100 Silent Ways, which I purchased relatively close to one another, Ani was winning by a mile. This was my absolute top scent. And although I still absolutely love it without any doubt, between the two, I have to say that this one is kind of pulling ahead at the moment. As you know, our tastes change all the time. So this is how it is right now, but I have been loving the scent. This beautiful combination of really sweet vanilla with beautifully done florals, which I typically don't like, just amazing. So 100 Silent Ways, I have been using a lot and I will continue to use a lot during the spring. Next choice is Amouage Sunshine. I mean, I had to choose this if for nothing else than for the name and for the color of the bottle, right? We're finally having more sunshine, more sunlight, and this fragrance is outstanding. It is, I'm not going to read all the notes. There are a lot of notes in here, but really it's the osmanthus in here that is very prominent, which to me smells like apricots. So I have sweet apricot jam with a touch of smoke from white tobacco. It is so beautiful, and it is very strong. The lasting power on me is absolutely outstanding. Projection is outstanding, and that's why I've chosen it for the early spring, because it can cut through the cold that we're still having. So Amouage Sunshine is a beautiful one. Next one that I have here is Nea from Jewelet Mad. Of course, I have to have a true gourmand in here, and this is a very special type of gourmand. Unlike anything else that I have tried, this has dates, it has caramel, it has pomegranate juice and palm leaf, and it's just beautifully sweet, delicious dates drizzled with caramel and pomegranate juice. So beautiful. This is very sweet. This is for those of you that are not afraid of tooth-achingly sweet type of fragrances. This is definitely bordering almost on too sweet, but it never crosses that line. So while we're still having this sort of cold weather, I think this is a great gourmand because it is strong enough, but at the same time, it has that fruity type of gourmand quality, which is kind of making me think of spring and summer. So that's why I've chosen Nea. My next choice for early spring is one of the newer fragrances in my collection, but again, the one that I have been loving so much, a fragrance that really surprised me. This is Tabac Rose from BDK Parfums. This is a fragrance where the notes and the name are kind of deceiving. This has plum, rose, chocolate, cinnamon, tobacco, patchouli, labdanum, and it's another one of those fragrances that goes through different stages of development. Originally, I get dates, I get patchouli, and some tobacco, very light. And as it starts developing, rose is coming out a little bit more, and chocolate is coming out so strongly. So in a dry down, I have this beautiful, delicious rose covered with chocolate. Outstanding scent, very interesting, very different, very unique, and very complex in my opinion. So I have been absolutely loving and impressed by Tabac Rose from BDK. And that brings us to the last fragrance that I have chosen for early spring. And this one is from Mancera, and it is called Musky Garden. I mean, the bottle is absolutely stunning. And this fragrance has fruity notes, it has citruses, musk, patchouli, floral notes, and it is really a mix of florals and fruits, but both kind of have been standing there for a while. Like, these are not freshly cut flowers. They're almost, you know, at the end of their life. And fruits are not freshly picked. These are more like fruits that have been brooding there for a while. So it is stunning. Such a beautiful fragrance. And it has really nice musk note in here because, as you know, I struggle with musk in many of the Mancera fragrances, not in this one. This one is beautifully done. And again, it's one of those fragrances that are kind of, I would use for in the middle type of weather, you know, not too cold. I would not use it in the winter because I don't think it's strong enough. And I would not use it in the summer because I think it is a bit too strong. So early spring, I think, is a perfect timing for this one. So again, this is Musky Garden from Mancera. And now let's talk about fragrances that I have chosen for late spring, which is obviously when we're having really warm weather. And of course, I've chosen more kind of lighter, floral, maybe slightly fresher type of scents. And the first one is one of a few remaining celebrity scents that I have in my collection, but a scent that I really, really like. This is Vintage Bloom by Jessica Simpson. In my opinion, it is such a beautiful floral scent. It has citruses, it has peony, raspberry bloom, and musk. And I think it's the addition of citruses that really makes this fragrance special. So it is a very zesty type of floral scent. It is a little bit sweet. and it is a little bit musky, but overall kind of citrusy, floral, very bright, very bubbly, and just a beautiful, beautiful scent. Again, I think a bit underrated. So this is Vintage Bloom from Jessica Simpson. Next, of course, I had to include a rose here as well. And the rose that I chose is Izia from Sisley. Again, one of my favorite rose scents. It has, in addition to rose, peony, some other floral notes, musk, and aldehydes. And in this case, I think it's the aldehydes that make this fragrance really special, because typically, you know, when I think about aldehydes, right away, I think about Chanel No. 5, and, you know, no offense to anyone who loves it, but for me, it's a big no. But aldehydes in here are very, very different. They bring such a nice, sparkly, fresh quality. They bring something special to this fragrance. This is not your ordinary rose. It has, I would say it has a slight touch of powderiness, but very, very slight. This is definitely a fresh rose, maybe slightly watery rose, definitely very sparkly. It freshly picked bouquet of probably, I would say, pink roses, definitely not a dark rose. These are at least associations that I have with this fragrance. And again, I can't wait to start wearing it again in the spring and summer. Another great floral scent that I think will be perfect for spring is from Bulgari. This is from their Splendida line, and this is called Iris Dior. This is probably so far my favorite iris scent that I have ever tried, and that is because it has some green notes in here. It has mimosa, sandalwood, vetiver, all of the notes that I like. What I found out last year is that I really enjoy the note of mimosa, and vetiver brings kind of fresh, slightly green touch to this, and then other green notes help with that as well. So this turns out to be very green, very fresh, and not very powdery iris. But at the same time, it does have sweetness. This is a stunning, stunning iris scent, even for someone who is quite picky with this note. So definitely looking forward to wearing this one as well. Next fragrance that I have is from Atelier Dior. This is Choir of Angels. Such a beautiful bottle, I think, so fitting for the spring as well. But of course, the most important thing is the actual fragrance inside. And this one is all about blood orange. There's also pear, osmanthus, honey, amber, and it's just really sweet, honeyed blood orange with a touch of apricots added in. Again, it's the osmanthus that gives off the smell of apricots to me, and pear brings even more fruitiness to this. This is also my daughter's, one of her favorite scents from my collection, and because her birthday is in late spring, I kind of somewhat associate this fragrance with her as well. Now, just because it's late spring doesn't mean we can't wear vanilla, because I think vanilla fragrance is appropriate any time of the year. So I've chosen one here as well, and the one I went with is Angelique Noir from Guerlain. Now, the reason I chose this one is because this is a green vanilla. It is not too sweet, it is not too overpowering, it is very creamy, smooth, elegant, just beautiful, beautiful vanilla. Not much I can say about this. Not a beast, doesn't have the best performance, but I really don't care with this line. I just absolutely love all the fragrances that I have from this line, and Angelique Noir is no exception, and definitely will be wearing it a ton during the spring. Which brings us to the last fragrance in my selection, and this one is another floral, although it has some gourmand nuances as well, and this is Blondine from Frassai. This is a really interesting fragrance, the one that I'm surprised that I like as much as I like, because really the most prominent note here is lily, well, tiger lily, but to me it's really the same. There's also butter, cacao, caramel, salt, and I think it's because of those notes that I'm such a huge fan of this fragrance, because it definitely has very sweet, maybe not very sweet, very buttery texture with some sweetness. And it definitely has a little bit of salt in this. So it is like salty caramel, but not too strong. The main player is still the lily, and all of those other notes are kind of supporting it and bringing more interest to this fragrance. This is a beauty, and again, I have been, to be honest, I have been wearing this in the winter as well, but I think it might be just a little bit more appropriate for the spring. So there you go. These are my fragrance choices for the spring. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please remember to give me a thumbs up and subscribe. And I would love to know, what are you looking forward to wearing the most during the spring? Thank you for watching. I will see you soon in my next video. Bye.